Paul N Saul show where Saul, that guy, says the news, and this guy, Paul, just says whatever he wants. So we try to sum up your news in about 20 minutes. So hang in there with us and let's hit the intro and let's get going.
You got it. All right, man. So let's get right into it. We've got
Good.
some pretty hard stories this morning, and we got some that might make you a little angry. I don't know. We'll see. But the first one up is an update in the Duran murder trial that took place this week. On Monday, I headed down to the Okaloosa County Courthouse where we were able to hear from Judge William Stone, who's the guy in charge of this court proceeding. Basically told us, hey, I am tired of waiting on this thing. We're going to have a trial. And so September 28th is the trial. They planned 3 days for this trial, which is, I think, about the average amount of time, if I'm not mistaken, for a murder trial. But they added a hearing basically where they're going to have a couple of expert witnesses that they brought in to determine whether or not they can be added into the trial, that they can be used in limine, I think is how it is pronounced in Latin. Basically, these experts are going to be brought in and they're going to say, well, I think this or I think that. As you might have guessed, they've already interviewed 50 witnesses in this case, Paul. It's been a long time coming, but you'll remember that Roger Fortson, and I'm not going to show the whole video here. It's going to cut out before anything happens. So anybody that's worried about that, don't be. But the Eddie Duran, the person who's wearing this body camera, shot and killed Roger Fortson, a Hurlburt Field Special Operations Airman. His mother right there, Shanameki Fortson, has been advocating for him ever since. And it's been a long journey for them. It's I don't know, man. I don't know how you deal with the loss of a kid. That's the thing I've taken away from this is I have no clue what it's like to lose a kid.
Yeah, this case is terrible, right? So it's going on 2 years, I think. And
2 years in May.
Yeah, it just seems like it's dragged on forever. It's painful for everybody involved. We weren't in Duran's situation, so we don't know what we would have done. But it just seems like a killing that shouldn't have happened. And it's going to be decided in the court of law on whether there was something negligent or whether there was something criminal that happened there. But man, 2 years just seems like a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this on this. About 10 years ago, I'll start with the hot take. The hot take is I probably would have done the same thing as Eddie Duran, and I'm not proud. I'm not happy about that. And I say that because about 10 years ago, I was in a simulation. The Walton County Sheriff's Office put out a simulation. They did scenarios like this, and it was like a shoot, don't shoot sort of thing. And I shot the person, and the deputy looked at me and said, "Congratulations, you're now going to be spending the next 15 years in jail."
Right.
So that's not me saying like, he's innocent. He shouldn't. I'm saying that like, it is so horrible that this happened, right? And yeah. I am not going to sit here and pretend like I wouldn't have done the same thing and be like, oh, this is so bad that he did this and he's a monster. But like, I think we all contain multitudes, right? And that's the thing I've learned about this is that, like, should Roger Fortson have been shot? I'm going to come out and say no. Like, I don't think so. But that doesn't mean that I don't understand the fear on the other side. And so I think this has been stressful for both of these families. I think it's a horrible situation. And I do hope justice prevails, right? I hope that they get this thing to trial because on both sides, if I'm Shanameki Fortson there, I don't want to sit on this trial forever. I don't want to be a part of this forever. And then if I'm Eddie Duran, right? And if Eddie Duran is innocent of this, I don't want to be sitting on this forever. It's just a horrible thing. And that's why we look for a speedy trial in this country.
Yeah. The mother just has a quote that you have in the story is, I'm not trying to throw nobody away. I just want accountability.
Yeah.
And I think she's right. I mean, I don't know how she feels 100% about the situation, but that quote in itself, I think is how sums it up pretty well. Like, we want accountability. But man, the job of a police officer is really hard.
I would never do it. I think there's so much risk and terror and trauma involved, the stuff that they go through. So right. it doesn't make this situation that we're looking at right,
Yep.
but it makes it understandable. Anyway, really hard start to this morning, Paul.
Yeah,
Let's go with something maybe a little bit lighter.
Yeah,
and
it gets lighter.
The Walton County Commissioners have alerted the public through a consent agenda item, I believe, that they are going to start charging for beach parking access. Basically, if you're local, and that means only Walton County residents, so you and I, brother, are going to be paying the full freight cost. It's $5 a year. And then if you want a year pass, if you're not a local Walton County resident, then it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood. I think it was $150 or $210, some amount. But this gets you access to that parking lot area, and it gets you a tram to the beach at that cost. But the thing that my dad wrote this one, so Stephen wrote this one, and the thing that really I thought was kind of hilarious, they won't allow any overnight parking, and the overnight parking fine is $500. Like they are like, do not park your car here overnight. Like, I get that you have an Airbnb with one parking spot, but that is your problem, not ours. Like, holy crap. Can you imagine a $500 parking fee?
Well, I mean, I think what they're trying to stop is van life, right? Like, they don't want people to show up, pay the annual parking permit, and then just spend the night on the streets and near the beach. I'm conflicted on this one. Like, the prices don't hurt my head. $5 if you're a Walton County resident. I just looked it up. It's $205 for the annual non-resident parking permit. And then I think if you're a non-resident and you want weekly parking, it's $120. So that's headed right at the, tourists. I mean, it's fine, but it definitely opens the doors for these prices to go up. It's just like, it's just like, I think state of Washington just passed it. We're like, we're going to have a state income tax now if you make this much money or that much money, when they never had a state income tax before. And I'm like, well, they're going for the rich people, but the state income tax is going to change over time, and it's going to be for everybody at some point. So that's sort of how I feel about this too.
I like the idea of this parking thing, just because they need more parking space down there, and going down to anywhere on 30A during the summer is a nightmare. Like, and so if we have everybody driving and trying to like circle the 4 beach parking lot spots on 30A, it just congests everything, so if people that are passing through or whatever, you can't win. Right. And so I like the idea. I hope that this gets more cars off of that road, because they are begging for a pedestrian fatality with as many cars on the road as they have. Right.
Well, I mean, if they wanted to do that, they would have made the prices higher. I mean, $205 for someone who's coming to spend, lots of time on 30A is not that much money.
This is how it begins. First, they came for the vacationers, and I said nothing because I was not a vacationer. But I like it. I think it's a good use of people's, our tax dollars. It helps pay for some of the maintenance. The only thing I don't love is the fee structure. They have convenience fees that you have to pay. So I don't really know how it's a convenience fee because you're paying it. But whatever. They're kind of steep. And then that $500 overnight parking thing, I just think is quite good. Anyway.
Well, I mean, I think they're hoping to raise like $1 million with this thing, and I think it's going to upset people way more than $1 million. I mean, I know $1 million sounds like a lot of money, but not in a county budget. Like, it's not really that it's like a drop in the bucket. So
if memory serves me, like the total county budget for Walton County last year was like, I want to say $400 million. So this is no half-cent sales tax, where we raise a ton of revenue. We can actually do like real infrastructure projects. This is like maintain the parking lot money. But speaking of people that will have to maintain things, Valparaiso has a new mayor. Joe Morgan defeated challengers Patrick Palmer and Chris Wasden with a near majority, which is very hard to do in a 3-way race. I think he was 10 votes short of a majority, something like that. Some 800 people showed up. It was a 25% turnout. Last time they had a referendum last time they had a vote in Valparaiso, you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt because it was a non-binding referendum on chickens. You'll remember that. People are still angry with me about that non-binding referendum on chickens. They believe that I cooked the books. I don't know.
Hey-o. Deep fried them?
Deep fried the books, as it were. I don't know how I would have done that because I don't have a vote in Valparaiso, and B, I'm pretty sure that I don't have that kind of juice. And I also didn't take an opinion because I don't really care. But yeah, some people still mad. That's fine. Joe Morgan, talked to him. There's a 45-minute-ish interview with him that we did where he talks about everything he wants to do. And I mean, I asked him the hard questions and he gave me like cogent, intelligent, meaningful answers. So if you want to know what he is attempting to do in the city, whether it comes to, I asked him, I think to your interest, Paul, I asked him about like, hey, are you going to bring more commercial in this area? How are we going to pay for property tax? Or, how are we going to pay for stuff? And he was like, well, he's not like, he doesn't want to bring a bunch of stuff in. He really wants to focus on like office space, stuff like that, as opposed to like more retail. So if you're looking for a new bowling alley, I don't think that is his number one priority. I think he's very much into the like bedroom community mentality for Eglin Air Force Base. But he's got the con for the next 4 years. Army vet, realtor. He taught in the Okaloosa County School District as a teacher. He was an artillery guy. I think I said that, but like, so he's good at math, which I'm excited about. I bet, right? They have to be good at math in the artillery, surely.
At least some geometry.
Right?
So, and some aerodynamics, yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is fantastic. This is obviously a landslide. I know people look at the low numbers and they're like, that doesn't seem like a lot of votes, but like it is a fair number of votes. The city of Valpy is not that big. So congratulations to Morgan on his victory. I was at the Niceville Valpy Chamber of Commerce meeting yesterday where the current mayor, Brent Smith, got a few minutes to tell us all about what he thought were the accomplishments while he was mayor.
Month by month, as I heard it.
It was month by month. And you know what? I got the sense that Mayor Brent Smith is excited or maybe just okay with being done with his stint.
I have not ever seen him laugh. And like, I don't want to say he like giggled with glee because that sounds negative, but like he like laughed. He was like, this is my last meeting. And like just the biggest smile lit up on his face. Like, I get that like being the mayor seems like a really cool gig, but you couldn't pay me to do that.
No, I've been to enough of the city council meetings, and the mayor has to put up, especially in Valpy as a voting mayor, has to put up with a lot of crap and has to run a really tight ship. Otherwise the meetings get out of hand. And I will commend current mayor Brent Smith on running a pretty good meeting and not putting up with BS. And they did accomplish a fair amount in Valpy. Bringing in the Okaloosa Gas headquarters, being able to flip some residential to commercial. They also built some, they allowed the building of some affordable housing and brought more units and density to Valpy. So shout out to Mayor Brent Smith on what he did and was able to do during his tenure. And I hope in a lot of ways, Mr. Morgan does sort of the same thing and just, puts the gas pedal down a little bit and maybe some of this stuff happens a little bit faster. But yeah, he takes over in 5 days. I think the turnover is March 17th.
It's a St. Patrick's Day. He will be the man in charge. And that's when Mayor Smith gave a real big smile. He was like, yep, that's when I'm out. But Mayor Smith's been there for 8 years. That's a long time to serve in a single spot. So like you said, it takes a lot for somebody to stand up and say, I'll collect $1 a year in order to put up with all this crap.
And if you're paying attention, right, like stuff is happening. Okaloosa Gas coming in and their big footprint in Valpy of their old buildings is eventually going to be sold off and turned into something.
So I would imagine it's going to be commercial. It has to be, right?
I would venture so. I mean, I don't know if we want a bunch of office buildings there, but it would be really nice to have some mixed use. Maybe give Valpy a grocery store. I think we said that last week, but we'll just have to see, how the money comes in. But shout out to Okaloosa Gas. That building inside is tremendous. It holds the entire community. I mean, I think if I was a developer and had, tens of millions of dollars or access to it to build something cool on their old property, I would look at what they did at their new property and think, oh, I got to step up my game and do something really cool. So yeah, like, I don't know. I think Valparaiso is starting to turn the corner. in some regards, but it's been a slow moving thing, and obviously there's a lot of challenges. So
Yeah. So we'll be watching Valparaiso closely to see what happens next. We'll also be watching that road right there to see if there's going to be a school zone speed camera at some point. The word on the street is maybe. Chris Wasden, one of the other people that was running for mayor, was very much against it. We talked about that in our interview. But there is a spot open on the city commission because Wasden did have to resign to run. So they had a name in the hat. Somebody applied. They decided to hold on to it for another month. So is there a chance that Wasden's back in that seat? I don't know. So lots going on in the city of Valp. And then I'll let you know the Fort Walton Beach referendum still going on. Apparently the attorneys are getting together to talk about all of the referenda and see which ones are going to kind of like continue to challenge the city is and which ones they're not. But the big news out of that one is that the 3% cap was defended. They're going to keep that 3% cap. It looks like based on the election day returns. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. I think it's outside of a single standard deviation, the number of votes that could potentially come through to change that. So I'm relatively confident that'll hold, but I can't guarantee it. They're still not going to pay city council members. That was voted down as well. But they did vote slightly in favor of a very nebulous referenda, number 4, that would ultimately keep the city police and fire as a charter, or it would put them in the charter that they have to have them. So there's been talk from Councilman Payne Walker, basically saying like, hey, should we outsource this to the fire, Okaloosa, Walton, or Ocean City Wright Fire District and the sheriff's office? So if that holds, then there will be a police department and a fire department run by the city. We'll see.
I don't know, it kind of feels like it heading in the wrong direction. I don't know.
I just work here. I don't know. I don't know anything. But yeah, those initial results, very interesting. Also, they're going to move city elections to November. So it'll be on the ballot. 87% of people voted in favor of that. So that was not controversial, really.
Everybody wants to vote in November for everything, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get that it's going to be a long ballot, but if I have to do it once every 2 years,
yeah,
like,
well, hey, one more quick thing. Like, I don't know, because I've been searching, and maybe you could tell me. Like, but is the state Senate going to vote on this property tax thing or not?
Okay, so talked about this with a couple people yesterday. It's not been picked up by the Senate. The last action on it was February the 20th. So it looks like it's going to die, but it looks like there is going to be a special session on this in the coming months. So we're looking at 3 special sessions this year. One to get the budget done, which is literally the only thing that the state legislature is required to do by law. Wow. And another one for, gosh, I can't even remember all of them now, but there's 3 of them. So
I think it's crazy. Yeah. Like, it's such a big story. And then for it not to be picked up, I guess their thought is like these special sessions make it more,
why do I feel
like putting a magnifying glass on it, and that's better, but like, it feels like it's a delay tactic.
I think that's probably a pretty true to style that's what that is. Yeah. I think that nobody wants to be with the hot potato. I mean, the governor obviously wants it because it'll make him look really good for a presidential run, but the state House and Senate see this as a huge problem that they will have to fix some way. Yeah. But it looks really good. So the casual voter, it says, oh, no property taxes. Hell yeah, brother. But
it seems like we're the only state going in that direction. A lot of the other states are adding taxes. So
I mean, I guess, but like, they got to get their cut somehow, and they will. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it pans out.
We will be keeping an eye on that. We got all this stuff in. If you have questions for us, do let us know what they are. Hit us up at Midbay or Christopher at midbaynews.com, news at midbaynews.com is where you can get them. And a special thank you, as you saw in all of our banner ads, to Lisa Battelle Law Firm for sponsoring this episode. We can't do it without our sponsors. So if you need somebody to help you out with the legal matter, especially when it comes to like contract law, trusts, things like that, lyp-law.com is the place to go. So check it out. Anyway, that's what we got today. Let them know.
Shout out Lisa Patel. I'm a client. She's great.
Right on. Very good. Well, hey, since you got to start the show, I'm going to finish the show. I'm
Let's
going to tell
do
you,
it.
be nice, Niceville, and surrounding areas